I've just taught you about margins and padding, and I'm sure you're thinking, what's the difference? Because they both give you white space around some element. Well, let's analyze really what the difference is here. We have a padding here around the reasons heading of 3 pixels, and we have margins of different sizes around the heading as well. Now, if we click in WebStorm on H2, like this, when we look over here, you can see this little 3-pixel padding around reasons, and the much larger margin in like an orange color. So, what's the difference? Well, what happens if we put a border around it? And I'm gonna actually change this margin so we can see the border, the code for the border a little easier. So I have 16 pixels, 20 pixels, 16 pixels, 20 pixels. It's all right around 16 pixels. Let's just make it 16. And we can use that shorthand where we just write 16 pixels. And then it makes the padding actually 16 pixels all around the heading. Perfect. If we now put a border in there, the border rests in between the padding and the margin. Watch this. How we can put a border is we're just going to use border, which is actually shorthand for a bunch of other border types of properties. And you can see all the different border types of properties here. We're gonna learn some of them, but I don't want to bore you with too many of the details. So we're going to border colon. I'm going to make it only 1 pixel. And then I have to say whether it's dotted, dashed, solid, and there's some other options too. Let's just make it solid. And then I can say whether it's black or some other color. Or what if I don't say anything, it'll just be black. So now you see we have a black border around our heading. That's kind of neat. And you'll notice that the border is in between our padding, which is in green, and our margin. So that's kind of one of the fundamental differences between padding and margin, is that the border is in between that. And that affects other things as well, and we'll learn about that later. But now if we go into the inspect element and we change the padding, you can see I have to do it twice for some reason. But now if we change the padding, you can click on it and then press the up arrow, and you can see how this affects things. The reasons ends up in between, in the middle basically, of the whole padding. Now if I change the margin, then reasons doesn't really move compared to the border, right? So why don't you put some borders around your headings or some of your other elements? Play with that. It can add a lot of interesting spice to your web page. And we're going to learn some other really neat border tricks in just one more video after this.